Hi guys, and welcome back, and today I'm really pleased to be able to share with you the final reveal video for the Panther Buddy Build diorama that I did with Steve Mottram. So this video will be basically in two parts. Initially we'll do a bit of a spin around on the magic spinning wheel from a few different angles, and then a few still shots, and I might come back and talk about some of the aspects when the still shots are being shown. And then after that I'm going to do a little bit of a comparison between the out of the box build and the pimped build with all the PE, and just have a bit of a chat about, was it worth the expense of adding all the aftermarket stuff, and did it make a big difference? And of course you'll be the judge of that anyway, but I'll just give you my views on what that was like for me. And I just want to thank Steve for doing the buddy build with me. It was great fun. We exchanged a lot of emails over the journey, more than we normally do. Quite a good bit of banter, and yeah, just a lot of fun to see his progress and how he's turned out compared to mine. And I think we both turned out pretty reasonable jobs in the finish. So we have a lot of fun sledging each other, but great friendship. And he's an excellent bloke, and you should really make the effort to go and check out his channel. There'll be a link in the description below, because he produces some really awesome stuff. And look, overall, I was really happy with how it turned out. A few things that I've never done before, and one was certainly the extensive use of the PE on the pimped vehicle. The tricolour painting was probably only about the second time I've had a crack at that, so I was happy with that largely. And the mud and snow and ice effects, which I haven't really done before in combination, was really happy with the way that worked out. And in fact, the water effects that I did with the clear resin, you'll see in some of the photos here that I went back over it with some of that snow and ice wash. And I think that really made it look a lot better and just sort of left a central patch in the largest puddle of water there that had already defrosted. But I think it does look quite icy. So, yeah, look, by and large, I am pretty happy with the way this turned out as a diorama and as a story. And we'll come back after the last few photos and I'll just have a bit of a chat about the benefit and the value of the PE as opposed to out of the box.
Jens, ist dir kalt? Natürlich ist mir kalt. Nun schau dir das an, es wird dich wärmen.
So I put a rating table together for a quantifiable comparison score. It's not overly scientific. After all, it's just based on my opinion. But I thought if I looked at categories like the ease of build, time to build, how much it cost, what satisfaction it gave me, the level of detail that I got out of the kit, and then made a judgment on cost versus result. Look, there might be other more valid categories, but these ones seem to be fairly universal, I thought. So ease of build for the out-of-the-box kit was a no-brainer. I gave it a 9 because, well, it's Tamiya. I don't really need to say anything more, really. It just falls together very easily. I gave it an 8 for time of build, mainly again because Tamiya, and it just fits together so well, and it takes no time to build at all, really. For cost, I've rated it as an 8. It was 60 Australian dollars, so it stacks up well against similar kits from the various other manufacturers, and it's probably at the lower end of the scale for Australian purchases anyway. Satisfaction, well, that's completely subjective, but I've given it a score of 7, and it's largely driven by the way I felt about it when it was built, compared to the time and the effort that was required to build it. So, given it was an easy build and didn't take a lot of time, it is quite satisfying. You get a really good-looking Panther tank, so I thought that was reasonable. Cost versus result, well, that's sort of a combination of the cost and the satisfaction categories, and that ended up being a 7. And again, sort of ease of build, time, and cost to, a reasonably good-looking model Panther tank at the end of it all. So if we add all those up, the total score for the out-of-the-box build is 46. Now, if we look at the pimped version, I gave ease of build a 5. And the reason for that was the PE nearly killed me. The instructions with PE I find are typically vague, and these were no different. And it took a lot of time to read over them before it sunk into my head, so maybe that's got more to do with me than the instructions. But there were so many super tiny pieces, it really nearly sent me almost blinder than I already am. So it wasn't easy to build all the PE, hence the 5. Time got a score of 4, which was again mainly driven by the impact of the PE. Probably due to my skill level and lack of experience with it, partly due to the vagueness of the instructions, as I've said before, and partly due to the fiddly nature of many of the parts. It really started to do my head in. Cost gets a 3. I spent over 200 Aussie dollars on all the aftermarket stuff, and that's something I doubt that I would ever be doing again. Satisfaction, however, that gets a 9, because in spite of the time and the additional difficulty in the building, as the bits were being completed, I did find it very satisfying. And I think through the exercise, my PE skills have improved, certainly my soldering skills have improved. So on that level, in terms of achievement, I did find the experience satisfying. Detail gets a 9 as well, and well, you really can't question that the additional detail is outstanding, and that's even with my poor building skills of many of the elements. But overall, I think that applies to it in its pre-painted state. I really like the detail there, not so much as it got further down in the painting side of things. Cost versus results gets a 5. And that's largely due to how much less I loved the pimped version once it was primed and painted. So a lot of what I thought was really great details in its unpainted state seemed to be less impressive once the paint went down. So if we add all those up overall, the pimped version gets a score of 35, so 11 points behind the out-of-the-box version. So in summary, I really don't think I'll ever be going the full Monty with PE again. For what I do, which is really telling stories through dioramas, I don't really think it's worth it. And in this instance, I don't see the extra $200 value in the pimped version in the diorama. And I don't think it enhances the story all that much. I think of what I put on, I think the tracks are worth it. The frill tracks, I thought they were excellent, as is the barrel. And for this one, the side skirts. And that might be partly because they were all fairly large pieces and really not requiring a lot of fiddly construction, so I will most likely do at least that level of enhancement again in the future. If I was entering kits in a show and I was really keen to do well and that was important to me, then it might be a different story. I'm constantly blown away by some of the great detailed builds I see in model shows, but for me that's not a huge motivator. In this instance, if I just went with the side skirts, the tracks and the barrels, it would probably only be about an extra $80, so a little bit more affordable. And at the end of the day, I think it all comes down to personal preferences and budgets. If you want to add heaps of PE and you've got the budget and the time and the patience, then go for it, absolutely. Sadly, I don't have any of those, most of all patience. I get frustrated if I don't feel there's a good steady stream of progress going on, and certainly doing all the PE just felt like it was taking forever. So look, it's been an interesting exercise. It's been fun to do the comparison, and I've learnt quite a few things. So all in all, I'm glad I did the project, and I am really happy with how the dio came out, which is the most important thing. It's been great fun to do the buddy build with Steve, and we've exchanged a lot of emails and lots of banter across the project, which has been good fun as well. So that wraps up this project, and I've already pretty much made up my mind what the next one will be, and it'll be a companion piece to the Castle Itter diorama. So when the castle came under attack, one of the main weapons that the SS forces had was an 88mm gun, and so I'm keen to build that and maybe chuck a Kuba wagon in there and a few extra troops and bods running around, and have that sort of sitting next to the Castle Itter dio when it's finished. So I think the Tamiya German 88 is next in the queue, and looking forward to doing that. It actually is a special kit to me. The Jag Panther that I built a couple of years ago was the first kit that I ever built that Mum bought for me from Hearn's Hobbies, a little bit of an icon store in Melbourne. And the Tamiya 88mm is the first kit that I ever bought with my own money, having saved up my pocket money. So I think about 42 years ago. So it'd be interesting to see if I've improved at all since then. So that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. As always, like if you like, and sub if you're not already subbed and you want to keep up to date with the new releases. And as always, look forward to your comments, and I will answer them all. So take care, everyone, and I'll catch you in the next one.